And for Simone Thomas, she's got a day off or two, got tomorrow off as well. And Nathan Scott will be filling in weather-wise for you. Man, I guess we picked a good weekend to hang out with you and do weather today. Well, at least I am for the day today. Let me tell you what's going to be happening the next couple of days. We still have a good chance of thunderstorms in the forecast. Some could be strong to severe. In fact, National Weather Service just moments ago placed a good part of central and southern Arkansas under a severe thunderstorm watch till 9 o'clock tonight. And that does cover the Little Rock metro area, as you will see here in just a few minutes. Damaging winds are primary threat, and the Storms Prediction Center has placed a little bit of eastern Arkansas under an enhanced risk. You got afternoon plans, maybe it's back on the lake today, tomorrow. Man, I wish I had better news for you. There could be some iffy weather coming your way. So the scenario is this: we have a stalled out boundary in Arkansas, and it's not the best scenario because when you get little waves of low pressure traveling along that front, you get the potential for heavy thunderstorms, heavy rain, flash flooding potential. This is the way things look currently on live radar, with thunderstorms starting to come back together over north central Arkansas. The boundary itself is a little to the south, and a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 3:15 this afternoon for Clark County. I'll take us on a little bit of a tour and cover what's going on, but just know, if you're outside, maybe you got barbecue, maybe you got the family over and you're going to be out and about, be sure you keep an eye on the weather, because these thunderstorms will pack a punch, a lot of wind, possibly some hail. So there is our live radar. Time to put on the old readers. Here we go, folks. And Perry, you can take us straight full, and we'll take a look at live radar. And here you go. This is what's going on with those storms extending from Lawrence and Randolph counties to Independence. Unfortunately, Cleburne County, Van Buren County, Pope County, near some of our lakes, of which, some folks got the boat out, probably washing it off, getting it ready for lake duty this summer. From Cave City to Batesville, Drasco, Greers Ferry, Higdon, Arkansas, Edgemont over to Clinton, Fairfield Bay, thunderstorms occurring. Let me turn the lightning on so you can get a better idea. There you go. Yeah, these storms have lightning. Pope County, Hector, Dover down to Russellville, Yell County, north of Danville, over to Johnson County, Logan County. I would imagine folks that are, if they're on let's say if they're in a canoe over the Mulberry River up to the Buffalo River, they've had some very heavy rainfall, even down toward Mansfield and Scott County. Now some storms are trying to come together here in central Arkansas. There is a warning for Clark County this afternoon. Let me put a loop on this. And storms have been developing over the last I'd say hour, 2 hours or so. There you see them coming together along the stationary front. And with some energy aloft traveling along the boundary, you're going to have some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms. All right, so there's that warning till 3:15 for Clark County, really south of Arkadelphia, but Gurdon is in that polygon. Boswell, Okolona, Arkansas, also in that polygon. The main concern is going to be some straight line winds and maybe even some hail. Let me check out the hail now product that we have, and we're picking up possibly some quarter-sized hail in terms of any rotation. Not expecting much. This is more than likely going to be straight line wind driven scenario this afternoon. So that's what we have. Let me go back to the statewide loop. Thunderstorms coming back together. A severe thunderstorm watch, of which you will see here in just a moment, remains in effect for most of central and southern Arkansas. And there it is. Counties in pink. That does include Pulaski, White, Faulkner, Lone Oak, Prairie, Saline, Perry, Jefferson, Grant, Hot Spring, and Garland counties in the central Arkansas area. Most of eastern and southern Arkansas until 9 o'clock tonight. You might be able to see where the boundary is located just by looking at the temperature differential. You've got 91 in Camden this afternoon. However, it is 76 in Little Rock. In storms, and if you can come back to me if you want to, Perry, the storms are developing along that boundary. And that boundary is riding from near DeQueen, south of Hot Springs, near Arkadelphia, over to Pine Bluff, Stuttgart. And this is where the front is located. It's going to eventually push to the south. We are finally going to see an end to the weather, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen until we hit the Tuesday timeline. Monday looks awfully stormy as well. Speaking of which, your Memorial Day forecast, we will have not one but two rounds of storms, and the first one is moving through this afternoon and this evening. The second round coming through tomorrow morning over southwest and central Arkansas. Scattered showers in the afternoon tomorrow. Temperatures should only manage the middle 70s. So the impacts are going to be frequent lightning, gusty winds, flash flooding possible, strong to severe thunderstorms, damaging wind gusts, maybe some hail. And a great way to keep up with things is you've got the THV11 News app, and you can go over to the weather part of that and pull up radar to find out where the worst of the weather is located. Now, I mentioned a part of the state was upgraded into an enhanced risk of severe weather, and that is in eastern Arkansas. Some places like West Memphis, Stuttgart, Pine Bluff, not quite Little Rock, Des Arc, Wynn, Brinkley, down to around Monticello, just north of Monticello, for strong wind gusts. Then tomorrow, it's a very low wind threat, but it's there. I would say that Sunday and Sunday night's threat is going to be the one we'll have to keep a close eye on. This is what your flood risk looks like. Sunday, still a pretty decent shot of very heavy rainfall and flash flooding for central, northwest, north central Arkansas. On Monday, central and eastern Arkansas. Tuesday, this is where we begin to finally see the rain taper off, maybe even coming to an end. The rain chances on the way. The best are on Monday, Tuesday in the scattered category, Wednesday, Thursday in that slight chance category. And right now, I'm going to take the rain out for the weekend, next weekend. It does look like we'll finally work in some drier air, and temperatures will begin to rebound as we close out May and head into June. Afternoons ahead, our temperatures are going to be right at where they should be this time of year, with the rain chances eventually tapering off. I mentioned that boundary. There it is. And you've got one disturbance now in Tennessee. That came through earlier this morning. The next disturbance is now taking shape over north central Arkansas, and there might even be one behind it that affects mainly the western and central part of the state. So southern Arkansas has had more sunshine, a little more instability with that boundary and these waves of energy traveling with. When you've got all of that coming together, you're going to have a recipe for some strong thunderstorms. And that's why we have that watch. Here's the severe weather risk for the rest of your Sunday. Enhanced eastern Arkansas. Again, you're looking at West Memphis, Stuttgart, Pine Bluff, possibly even down to around Monticello, Deshay County, Phillips County, Arkansas, Monroe, Jefferson, Lone Oak. And the hazards look like this. Yeah, the tornado potential has come up just a hair, between 2 and 5%. Over in eastern Arkansas. Hail, quarter-sized or greater in the yellow. Pretty good bet there. Some of these storms could have some hail. And winds of 60-plus miles per hour. That seems to be the main concern over eastern Arkansas. Then tomorrow, we will see the chance of severe weather begin to back off a bit. Still a slight risk of severe weather in southwest Arkansas. Camden, El Dorado, Texarkana, marginal threat for the rest of us. And there are the hazards. Again, hail up to quarter-sized and wind 60-plus miles per hour. Now, the timing of all this. Storms have begun to take shape and are already firing in north central Arkansas. There's even a few that our high-res models are not picking up on in south central Arkansas. But by 5 o'clock, the storms enter central and they'll be ongoing in eastern. There's that first wave moving out of the way. But watch western Arkansas. The next wave coming together for those western counties. Northwest Arkansas as well. They got a big game up in Fayetteville. They got game 3 of the series between Ole Miss and Arkansas. I hope they can get it off, but storms may redevelop there this afternoon just in time for that game. And our future radar for Monday morning calls for ongoing showers and storms by the time Nathan Scott rolls in the morning. And those storms will eventually move across the state by noon tomorrow. Heavy rain is a possibility. Flash flooding cannot be ruled out. And then Tuesday, that last in a series of disturbances moving on through, the clouds may hang out with us for a good part of Tuesday. Our flood alerts page shows flash flood watches and even flood warnings in north central Arkansas. Those areas around and along where the Buffalo River is located, the Little Red River, some of those rivers in north central Arkansas. If you have interests up there, if you have family up there, they may be impacted with rapidly rising water. Again, several inches of rain cannot be ruled out. This takes us from now into Tuesday. Our projected rainfall amounts add up even more Tuesday. We've already seen several inches of rain over northern and northwestern Arkansas. GFS also indicating several more inches of rain possible. And when you add it all up, 4 to 8 in that orange area over the northwest, 2 to 5 in central, 1 to 3 over southern Arkansas, and that may be conservative. There's a lot of juice, a lot of atmospheric moisture for these storms to interact with, so we could be looking at even more rain. Forecast is calling for flooding concerns tonight and strong storms. Tomorrow, more strong storms for your Memorial Day. Soggy hot dogs and burgers, unfortunately. But remember the day if you can. I know that it's a 3-day weekend, and folks, hey, it's a 3-day weekend. Great, wonderful. But remember the day. Here's what's going on for the rest of your 7-day forecast. Memorial Day, storms Tuesday. Warmer 82, scattered showers and storms in the morning. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I've dropped those rain chances off, and actually I need to take that chance out for Friday for right now because I do think that some drier weather conditions will be working in. It's just a matter of getting through this soggy scenario over the next couple of days or so. I do want to pull up, if you're just joining us this afternoon, and Perry, you can come back to me. There we go. If you're just joining us this afternoon, I'm doing just a kind of a special streaming because of the impacts of what's going to be happening outside today. Maybe you got family over Sunday afternoon, tomorrow you're going to be at the lake. You got a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for central and southern Arkansas. This is going to go until 9 o'clock tonight. There are storms developing in central Arkansas as we speak, and some of those storms will have some pretty gusty winds with them. This is what live radar looks like currently. Live radar here at 241. And there's a little area from Clark County extending into Hot Spring, Grant, southern Pulaski that is bubbling up. Outside over my shoulder right now, and we've got this on the highway. Let me change the graphic. I'm going to change the camera angle real quick, Perry. Give me just a second. I really don't want to look at the highway. I want to see what the sky looks like. And we will elevate that just to show you what's going on around us. The skies have broken up a bit this afternoon after being very cloudy this morning. And this is what it looks like. Okay. Whoa. Whoa, Nelly. Too far. Okay. Looks like a fire. Fire's ongoing over there. It looks like it's close to, if not near the airport. We're looking to the east-southeast, and you can see the skies have certainly begun to clear up just a bit. Lots of humidity out there, though. I'm going to go to the state capitol shot. Give me just a moment. We'll turn this around to the west and find out what's happening to our west and southwest. Again, with storms billowing up not far from us, good idea to keep an eye on things because they could quickly come together, and heavy rain will be the main threat here across central Arkansas this afternoon. And there we go. Look at that muddy Arkansas River. All right, there's your state capitol shot. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit more. I'll even tilt that camera up. Yeah, and we'll be looking to our southwest for storms developing and moving into central Arkansas. Back to live radar we go. Again this afternoon, if you have plans outside and you've got family coming over, you're going to do a little barbecue, whatever, this is what radar looks like with that line of storms. Again, lining up from northeast Arkansas, Lawrence and Randolph counties over the northeastern part of the state in a line, and these are thunderstorms. Let me throw the lightning back on for you. Walnut Ridge, Batesville down to Heber Springs, Clinton just to your west, but also over Pope County near Russellville, Atkins into western and northern Yell County near Danville. And the storms continue off over into Logan County. I would imagine they get a pretty good lightning show up on Mount Magazine. In central Arkansas, storms trying to come together. There is one warning for Clark County that is riding along I-30. It has not moved much. I'm going to put it into motion just real quick. Hasn't moved much here over the last 20, 25 minutes or so. And that means it's going to dump a lot of heavy rain. You can see the line coming together along I-30 into southern Hot Spring, western and northwestern Grant County. Sheridan storms are going to be impacting you in the next hour or so. And that's what it does look like right now. Storms are starting to billow up along that stationary frontal boundary, and that front will meander back and forth here during the rest of the afternoon. If you have plans for Memorial Day, just plan on it to be wet, off and on, scattered storms. I think tomorrow, morning storms giving way to just a few showers for the afternoon and for the evening hours. And yeah, some of that rain could be heavy at times. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect this afternoon and this evening. That'll take us up to the news time and not quite to 10 o'clock. A lot of it's going to depend on the speed of this complex of storms. And when you have a stationary frontal boundary in the state, you can come back to me, Perry, if you don't mind. There you go. You got a stationary front, and that boundary is somewhere here over south central Arkansas. You've got impulses of low pressure in the upper levels, northwest flow aloft, northwest to southeast, interacting with the front. It becomes a recipe for heavy rain. And right now the zone is through north central Arkansas, although really the entire state is under a flood watch with the storms this afternoon lining up here over northwest and north central Arkansas. These areas are going to have a lot of heavy rain in a very short amount of time. You've got a lot more storm fuel over southern Arkansas. Instability is higher here. So when these storms billow up this afternoon, they'll have a little more wind potential with them and possibly some hail. Heavy rain, hail, high winds, and there's even a zone of eastern Arkansas that has a little bit more wind energy with it that we have to keep an eye on for the latter part of the afternoon into the evening hours. The National Weather Service says strong thunderstorms impacting Logan, Scott, Yell through 3:15 this afternoon. I've got that up on my computer here. We're looking at radar. And for those of you that are joining us, just now joining us, talking about what's left over, what's left of the weekend weather, I had hoped that we could, enjoy some of our Memorial Day holiday weekend, but forecast trends these last couple of days have indicated a broader coverage of thunderstorms, which, wouldn't be Memorial Day weekend without having thunderstorms. How many times can you think where you've done Riverfest in the past or you've done a festival in the past around Memorial Day and it rains? Yeah, there you go. That's what's happening. 64 Mountain Home to 91 in Camden. And that front stationary boundary is roughly from near DeQueen, south of Little Rock over to Stuttgart. It's cooler to the north and much warmer where we've got pockets of sunshine. So the front is just kind of meandering back and forth. And a little bit of sunshine will go a long way into quickly warming you up this afternoon. Again, the threat of severe weather, I'm going to run you through that once again, your Memorial Day forecast. There is going to be a chance of strong storms, especially tomorrow morning. And we'll wrap up the day with scattered showers with the possibility of thunderstorm. Several rounds have impacted our weather over the weekend. And here's the latest from the Storms Prediction Center this afternoon. They upgraded a part of eastern Arkansas into an enhanced risk for some very strong and damaging straight line winds. Tomorrow, it's a low end threat, a marginal threat, but we still have that chance in southeast Arkansas to be concerned with. The flooding risk is still very high across the state today. Really, today is probably going to be the worst of the next couple. We begin to see the rain back off by Tuesday, but still tomorrow with morning thunderstorms ongoing. They'll eventually spin out of here and they'll take the rain with it. We can't rule out heavy rain showers tomorrow. And I have us backing the rain off as we get closer to next weekend. We certainly need a break from all this rain and a chance to dry out. Be careful what we wish for, though, because June, July, August, into September, really the 4 driest months, and we tend to dry out quickly here. But we have picked up quite a bit of rain, and coming up tonight, during our newscast, I'll try to get a better view. You know what? I'm going to do that right now. I've got a little time left. It's 2:48. Said I would stream for about 20 minutes. I do want to see if I can pull up the total storm totals here, rain totals. Give me just a minute, and I'll see if I can find those here. We get another look at radar as well. The radar estimates that have already, what is that? That's not it. That's not it. We have a lot of little buttons to look at here, trying to find the precipitation amounts. Here we go, rainfall amounts. This is 48-hour rainfall amounts. Should be coming up here momentarily. Okay. And yeah, we had hoped to have a legend with that. It's not, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. It's just the one I want. Anyway, I'll just have to find it. Maybe it's down in this box. Observe precipitation accumulation. Yeah, that takes us through this afternoon. Most of it has occurred over northern Arkansas, of course. Several inches of rain with more to go. Okay, back to radar we go. This is where we'll close you out. I got 30 seconds here. 1 hour radar loop is going to show storms to the north of us right now. They will eventually move to the southeast, and the storms will encounter a little bit more instability, more moisture, so they'll get stronger, they'll slow down, they'll train over the same area. So any thunderstorm we get this afternoon and this evening has the potential of providing flash flooding and even some strong wind gusts. Just be prepared for that. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock tonight. It is now 2:50. We invite you to join us for the newscast later on this evening. Everyone have a great rest of your day. I'll be around and I'll post these updates every so often to make sure you know what's going on around you. Have a great rest of your day.